Welcome everyone. My name is Christian Smedberg with Weinig Holzer USA. You are joining us for Tuesday's coffee address.
Good morning. I'm Andy Turner, VP of Sales with Weinig Holzer USA.
Andy, so today we are feeling pretty optimistic, aren't we?
Incredibly optimistic, Christian. Now, admittedly, I do consider myself. I am self-aware that I am an overly optimistic person at times.
At times.
But this week in particular, my optimism is growing, and the reason for that is that I've been reading. Of course, we're all reading to find out what the current pandemic, what effect it's having on the economy.
That's right.
And I read to look for optimism.
I know
I'm
you
optimistic.
do. I know.
And so what I'm reading this week is that by the end of this week, 42 states will be open at some level.
It's great to hear.
Yeah, they've been closed for so long. I think it's huge for us. It's just in time for the Memorial Day weekend.
Yep.
Everybody's got a long weekend, and in many states, they'll be able to take advantage of some things that they haven't been able to do in a while.
That's
Some
right.
states, I think Ohio is supposed to be at 90% maybe by the weekend, and they're starting to get to the point where you can go inside in restaurants. It's not just going to be outdoor service. And so we're starting to get back to a little bit of normalcy.
That's right. And this reopening should make it so that our summer will still be building up instead of just stagnant, kind of like our spring was.
Correct. Yeah. So hopefully we'll start to see some growth. Things are looking good, and all of those things are good for not only small business in general. I think it's big for all small business because
Sure.
small business has been affected the most probably from this pandemic. But I think in our industry, because we've talked about it before, such a large percentage of our industry is small business.
Absolutely
maybe 75% or so.
I would say so. Those small, specifically those small cabinet shops, are going to be key in our industry thriving this year. Not just surviving,
Right.
but thriving,
Right.
continuing
Exactly.
to grow this year. So we have a special guest today who can speak more about this topic and probably more knowledgeable than you and I.
Absolutely.
Amanda Conger will be joining us. She is the executive director of the Cabinet Makers Association, and we're going to get her on the line right now. Amanda, are you there?
I'm here.
Hey, good morning. How are you?
I'm fine. How are you guys?
We're doing
Doing
well.
great.
Thank you so much for joining us this morning. And before we start talking about the industry, can you tell us a little bit about the Cabinet Makers Association? What's your membership like, and what do you do there?
Our membership is for the small cabinet shops, which by small, we define that as under 20 employees. And generally, though, the majority of our members are actually 1 to 5 man shops. So these
One
are
to five. Okay.
custom shops. People get that confused with the larger cabinet makers, which are do, obviously larger volumes.
Sure.
So
Sure.
these don't do very many kitchens a year, but they're all very high quality and all custom, as I said. And I'm the executive director, and I try to keep everybody in line, keep the we add is staff to bounce ideas off of. They need a team of people to do that, so they connect with each other through the opportunities we offer, and really better their business because of that.
Right. All right. Great. And so, Amanda, can you talk to us a little bit about then your membership? How do you guys interact with each other? Do you have events? Do you get together at trade shows? What does that look like?
Yeah, we do. Essentially, I like to break it down to three different things. We get together at the industry events, and we do our own events as well throughout the year. And then, so that's collaborating in person with people. Then we also have an online discussion forums where you can collaborate virtually with the members and post questions, get answers, and connect 24 hours a day. So that's an everyday thing. And then if you want to connect one-on-one, we have a mentoring program to pair new members with older members, or just anyone who wants to connect further on a more personal basis.
Sure.
That's great.
Yeah.
So you're mentoring the small businesses that want to get bigger or that don't know much about being maybe we hear a lot actually on the podcast that Christian was in last week. They were talking
Yes.
about smaller companies in the wood industry and how a lot of times that just comes with someone that has a love for woodworking,
That's right.
but they don't necessarily have a love for business. And so what you're saying, describing from the mentor program, might be that these guys that have, or these guys or girls that have a love for woodworking, but maybe don't have that business acumen or that business understanding that they could be mentored to learn how to
Just
run a
need to
woodworking
develop it a
business.
little bit. Hmm.
You're exactly right. They love the craft, but they admit they're not business people. And
Sure.
so they need other people who have done things, know better, and all that. But there is a misconception in the industry that these small shops want to get bigger. They don't necessarily want to get bigger. They're very happy doing the amount of work they're doing. They want to be more profitable, obviously,
Mm.
and more efficient in their work, but not necessarily a bigger shop or do more volume.
So Amanda, when you were talking earlier, you said that the majority of your shops are 5 employees or less. So that certainly would be considered a small business in our industry. Um, are there things I've seen some of the associations have been surveying their membership to specifically not just to find out in general how they're doing, but more specifically right now with the pandemic that has been going on and how it has affected them. Have you guys done anything like that? And could you tell us a little bit about some of the results?
Absolutely. We hold a weekly virtual discussion. At our industry events, we hold an event that's called What's Your Problem? And we've taken that event, which is a roundtable discussion at the events where people just get together and we give them a few tips, here, talk about employee retention, just to get the conversation started. So we've taken that event and made it virtual where it's open to all members. It's at noon on Wednesdays, and they come prepared with what their current situation is and talk about the day-to-day problems as opposed to the larger picture. And what we've been doing now is pulling them at the beginning, trying to say, okay, what's your status right now? Are you in business? Are you operational? What's your pipeline? And what are your current concerns? And week to week, obviously, this is varying, as we know it's varying day to day in everyone's lives, the situation. So it's been a great way for members to connect with each other right now and just realize they're not alone.
So, Amanda, what have you seen as being their problems right now?
The biggest problem is trying to figure out how to do this, if you know what I mean. The ones that are in business and on the job site, they're trying to figure out how to schedule so they're not on the same site on the same day or time as other trades, to encourage that social distancing. The ones that are not operational now because they were not deemed essential are still struggling to get a pipeline when they're ready to go, work with customers who still want the business done, even though they're not technically allowed to work. And just a lot of that. And the ones who aren't working right now, though, or aren't, producing cabinets, are doing a lot of things to improve their business, such as creating SOPs,
Yes.
working on marketing more, any of that stuff that they never have time for, organizing the shop, those kinds of things. They've really tried, they can't not work. They have to stay busy. So they're doing what they can to get through this.
That's fantastic. So we've talked about it here, how within our organization, we're trying to take advantage, trying to get better at some of the newer technology, some of the things that we haven't been able to focus on before. And that's I think that must be the case everywhere. Everybody's trying to get better at things that they've always thought about, but now they have a little bit of time to focus on it. I think it's fantastic that you're having the virtual meetings. We've talked about that a lot. It's a great way to connect, and I've said it every time we've been on here that I hope it continues.
So, Amanda, can you shed a little light on what your member base is doing specifically to, I guess you could say, open back up? I know a lot of shops especially in some parts of the country, had to temporarily shut down, and now they're opening back up. So what are you hearing from your membership about how that process is going?
The biggest thing they're trying to deal with is when and how to bring back their other employees if they've had to lay people off because of this crisis. And, obviously the ones that aren't working had to. They're trying to figure out if it's even necessary, because they've gotten rather efficient in this downturn of doing things themselves. And since they're small shops anyways, they're independent, the owners are independent people, and they do like their hands on it, and they do like to go back and smell the sawdust and work with everything. So they'll probably, most of them will bring back some employees, but not all, and then really the projects that people have done during the downturn have been smaller projects than they would normally do, like a bookcase in someone's house versus a whole kitchen. Wow. And now they're going to have to turn away some of those jobs and get back to the ones that pay the bills. You know what I mean?
I see.
So when you talk about employees, and we talk about the country as a whole, there's been a lot of talk of the PPP, the Paycheck Protection Plan. You're mentioning that several employees may have been laid off. The business owners, the owner operators, in many cases are deciding whether they should bring these folks back, all of them back, now that they've become a little more efficient. Were they able to take advantage of the PPP?
Yes, many of them have, and that's a conversation we have weekly on our virtual calls, and then also daily in the forums. People are like, hey, I got it, now what do I do? I didn't get it, what do I need to do? Or what is this? Forgiveness, how do I apply for that? And yes, it's been very helpful, and people are sharing documents and resources back and forth trying to figure out how this works, because it's really not that clear right now, and it changes again like everything else day to day. So, but yes, many of them have received it in rather large amounts. So it's been very helpful for them to continue their operations. Yes.
That's great.
So Amanda, real quick before we let you go, thank you for joining us, but tell our audience, how can they get in touch with the Cabinet Makers Association?
Yeah, absolutely. Our website is cabinetmakers.org, and Cabinet Makers is plural. And right now we are offering a monthly membership option. So if you're a cabinet shop, a small cabinet shop, you can try it essentially before you buy it. And so it's a great way to, especially for people who don't have the funds right now, to do something like this. For $35 a month, you get full access to our forums, and you can really take advantage of all of our membership benefits on a month-to-month basis. So,
all right, and we'll put all the CMA links in the description of this video online. Amanda, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, guys.
All right.
Stay safe.
You too.
So, Andy, I think that was very optimistic.
Yeah, I think so.
I was pleased to hear that a lot of these small shops didn't have to shutter completely, but were able to weather the storm, and now they're coming back, and they're trying to figure out how to come back.
Well, some of the programs we've talked about on here, the PPP, helping them out, letting them. But just like so many, it really doesn't matter in a situation like this whether you are a large company or a small company. It sounds like at every level we're working on things. We're trying to get better. We're trying to be more efficient with the things that we do.
That's right. So, real quick, let's pivot to our showroom here in Mooresville.
Okay.
This week we got a lot going on, a lot of exciting stuff, especially in our profiling area of our showroom. This week we have, as we talked about last week, we now have the Weinig Cube Plus installed in our showroom. We have obviously our normal HSK machines, and we also have the Hydromat 3000 up and running and getting demoed on a weekly basis right now. There's a lot of interest about that.
Yeah, so you talk about demos, and this isn't specific to the profiling area, but our demos are up 2 or 3 times over what we did for the entire year last year, because we've been implementing new technology and doing virtual demos.
That's right. We have been making it easier, and I think more valuable, to the end customer so that they're not having to get in a metal tube with a bunch of other people, come down to here to Charlotte, get a car, get a hotel, etc., all that stuff. They're doing it. They're doing demos and very high quality demos from the comfort of their own office.
Overall, it's more efficiency overall. Our customers, it pretty much, you had a minimum of 2 days that you had to be out of your business. In many cases, it was 3 days to be out of your business to come for a demo. Now they can take 2 hours away from their business. They can see a demo. They can see what they needed to see, and they're making purchase decisions based on that.
That's right. And our sales team and our demonstration team are all well versed with current technology to get a machine demo up and running. To have multiple people on that call and to, again, have the demo in a very high quality technological environment. So anyway, so that's what's going on in our show. That's what we're excited about here in Mooresville. We also have some really cool stuff this week. So today, Jimmy Ginley, talking about profiling, is going to be doing a profiling maintenance workshop. It'll be 2 o'clock right here on Facebook. You can tune in for the live stream, or if you want, it'll be archived here so you can check it out whenever it's convenient.
Whatever's convenient.
Tomorrow, everything aftermarket is going to be discussed tomorrow afternoon with Mr. David LeMason. He's coming up here to the desk, and we're just going to hash out what is Weinig Holzer USA's aftermarket sales and service.
That would be great. I mean, there are a lot of people, they assume that we have programs here, but maybe they don't know exactly what they are. And David does a great job of monitoring programs, tweaking programs, making sure, trying his best to offer the best service to our customers. And so that'll be a great session.
Constantly getting that feedback from the customers. David's one of the best about really listening to what customers need and want and then implementing it here in our facility. Yep. And then to close out the week, Thursday, we have the showroom walkthrough.
Oh, yes, the much anticipated showroom walkthrough.
Much anticipated. We'll be doing a full showroom walkthrough, showing you all what we get to see every day. A lot of times what we take for granted every day, we're going to be stopping at every single machine, taking a look, what they are, what's on the floor here in Mooresville. And this will be a really good opportunity for a lot of you. If you're kind of on the fence about even looking for equipment right now, tune in for that walkthrough, because then you can see what do we have here that's ready to do an online demo for. If something sparks your interest, reach out to someone and set that online demo up.
Online demos, or if you get to the point where you're just ready to travel to go somewhere, we're also open. We will do our best to make you feel comfortable with the PPE that you may want to use. We have masks available. We'll do our best to make you feel comfortable.
Yep, absolutely. So the showroom is open and available for you to come. All right, so with that said, Andy, I think we have come to the end of our session today. So just to recap, we're feeling pretty good this week.
We are. We're incredibly optimistic.
We are incredibly optimistic, and we are signing out. Stay healthy, stay positive, and we'll see you next week.
See you next week.